Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupada Paramahansa Paribrajakacha Stu Tarasata Shri Srimadesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 18. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shunichaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmani Gavihastini Shunichaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshina Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shunichaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshina Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmani Gavihastini Shunichaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshina Vidya, education. Vinaya, gentleness. Sampanne, fully equipped, Brahmane, in the Brahmana, Gavi, in the cow, Hastini, in the elephant, Shuni, in the dog, Cha, also, Eva, certainly, Swapake, in the dog-eater, the outcast, Cha, respectively, Panditaha, those who are so wise, Samadarshinaha, do see with equal vision. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater, outcast. Purport. A Krishna-conscious person does not make any distinction between species or castes. The Brahmana and the outcast may be different from the social point of view, or a dog, a cow, or an elephant may be different from the point of view of species. But these differences of body are meaningless from the viewpoint of a learned transcendentalist. This is due to their relationship to the Supreme, for the Supreme Lord, by his plenary portion as Paramatma, is present in everyone's heart. Such an understanding of the Supreme is real knowledge. As far as the bodies are concerned, the different castes or different species of life, the Lord is equally kind to everyone because he treats every living entity as a friend, yet maintains himself as Paramatma regardless of the circumstances of the living entities. The Lord as Paramatma is present in both the outcast and in the Brahmana. Although the body of a Brahmana and that of an outcast are not the same, the bodies are material productions of different modes of material nature. But the soul and the supersoul within the body are not of the same spiritual quality. The similarity to the quality of a soul and the supersoul, however, does not make them equal in quantity, for the individual soul is present only in that particular body, whereas the Paramatma is present in each and every body. A Krishna-conscious person has full knowledge of this, and therefore he is truly learned and has equal vision. The similar characteristic of the soul and supersoul is that they are both conscious, eternal, and blissful. But the difference is that the individual soul is conscious within the limited jurisdiction of his body, whereas the supersoul is conscious of all bodies. The supersoul is present in all bodies without distinction. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane Gavi Hastini, Shunichaiva Swapakecha, Pandita Samadarshina. So we are continuing our commentary on the Bhagavad Gita according to the verses that Srila Prabhupada used to quote during his lectures. Prabhupada shlokas. So I am taking the important shlokas from the Gita according how Prabhupada used them. Prabhupada always spoke according to the Vedic Shastras. Practically everything he spoke was a paraphrasing of some verse or the other from the Bhagavad Gita or the Srimad Bhagavatam. And here this verse 518 is a very important verse because it describes not just what is a knowledgeable person, what is a pandit, what is a learned person, but it describes what are the symptoms of a learned person. The one wonderful aspect of Krishna consciousness, which very much attracted me, is that it describes in detail the symptoms of what is actually spiritual life. It wasn't just some hyped up slogans, oh, love God, God is great. But what does it mean to love God? What are the symptoms of one who loves God? So that if someone claims to be a lover of God, if someone claims to be a spiritual teacher, in the Vedas, in Krishna consciousness, it is directly explained what this person should be like, what he acts like, what he speaks like. And this is very, very attractive to me. Anybody can say, I love God. Anybody can say, I dedicated my life. But what is a practical example? So the practical example is explained by Krishna very clearly, especially in this verse. He says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. Vidya, knowledge. What is knowledge? What is the purpose of knowledge? One may have so much knowledge, so many degrees from universities, so many prizes, Nobel Prize, this prize, that prize. He may be a big guru with thousands and thousands of disciples. He may be recognized as one with great knowledge. But what is the result of this knowledge? The result of the knowledge is explained here. It is Vinaya. One who is Vinaya, one who is gentle. Then you know that he has real knowledge. The result of knowledge is that one becomes gentle. One becomes humble. One becomes meek. One becomes ready to give attention to others, to give all respect to others, and not expect anything in return. He respects others because he sees everyone connected to Krishna. And because the purpose of his knowledge, because the purpose of his life is to re-establish a personal, ongoing relationship with Krishna, then he puts Krishna first in everything he does, in everything he thinks. And when you put Krishna first, then you automatically see Krishna everywhere, because Krishna, as Paramatma, is everywhere. Krishna says that Kshetragyam chapimam vidi sarva kshetreshu bharata. That he explains to Arjuna that this body is a field, it is a kshetra. And the kshetra agya, the kshetragya is the knower of the field. So Krishna says, Kshetragyam, says, I am the knower. Chapimam vidi sarva kshetreshu. I am the knower of all the kshetras, of all the fields. In other words, Krishna is present in everyone's heart. I am present in my body, in my heart, and I know my pains and pleasures. I know exactly what is going on within my mind, but I don't know what is going on within your mind or your heart. Unless you describe to me what are your intimate thought, I cannot know, because I'm not present inside your body. But we all know that if spiritual seekers sit together, they have a common bond. And this common bond is the feeling of the presence of the Supreme Lord within our heart. I feel it, you feel it, the next person feels it. Every seeker feels this. This means that the presence of God is all-pervading. It is everywhere. Whereas my presence, my consciousness, it is limited to my body. So Krishna makes this clear. This is the difference between me and you and Krishna, is that I know my field and Krishna knows all fields. Kshetra kshetragyayor jnanam yat tach jnanam matir mama. Krishna says, my opinion, matir mama means my opinion is, one who knows the field, Kshetra kshetragyayor jnanam, one who has knowledge of being separate from the body, of being the knower inside the body, of being the soul, yat tach jnanam, that is real knowledge. Real knowledge is not to know how to build machines, how to build an environment, to increase my sense enjoyment. That the knowledge of increasing sense enjoyment is there also in the animals. A friend of mine used to have a dog, and this dog He always found the most comfortable seat in the room. He would go and sit there, whether it was on a couch or on a bed or on an armchair. He had the ability to find what was most comfortable for him. He was very good at that. We used to laugh at this Labrador dog. He had a sense of humor. So in the same way, animals, they know how to enjoy their senses. You don't have to teach an animal how to enjoy eating, or when it's time for sex, how to enjoy sex, or when it's time for resting, how to enjoy rest. Animals can do this, and we can also do it. But there is a big difference between the animals and ourselves. And the difference is that the animal cannot control his senses. An animal will act according to his nature, because that soul within the body of that animal, because he has acted in the past, during a past human life, because he has acted in an animalistic way, he gets the body of an animal as punishment. Not as punishment, as a result of his activity. Just like if I live my life, I want to eat anything without any discrimination, I want to enjoy sex life with any woman without any discrimination, then I will get the body of a pig. And in the body of the pig, I can eat whatever I want. The pig, whatever you feed him, he eats. When it comes to sex, brother, mother, sister, there is no restriction. So in the same way, for example, people who follow the fashion industry. So the fashion industry, they determine what gentlemen and ladies should wear. So for example, in the autumn season, we should wear this year brown colors with a fur or with feathers. So the process of decorating the body is very much prominent in the fashion industry. So people who become too attached to how to decorate their bodies, they get a body of a bird, of a parrot. Some of these birds are so beautiful, so colorful, you cannot even imitate them. But you want it to be colorful, you want it to be beautiful looking externally. So material nature says, all right, take the body of a bird with beautiful plumage, different colors. You cannot imagine. Or somebody wants to be a nudist, Prabhupada used to say, because during the time that Prabhupada came to America and was preaching to us there in the middle 60s, the hippie movement was very prominent, and nudity was one of the branches of being a hippie. We used to enjoy being naked. To my eternal shame, I remember living in Bali in Indonesia with my American girlfriend, and we would bathe naked and sit on the beach naked. And the locals would get so upset with that, they would throw stones at us from a distance to signify, to tell us how much they disapproved of us sitting naked on the beach. So Prabhupada said, you want to be naked? Fine. You stand like a tree next life. You can be naked for 1,000 years. So, because we are part and parcel of God, because we have all the qualities of God in a limited way, we can choose to be independent. God is ultimately, unlimitedly independent, and we are minutely independent. When we misuse our independence, we create this material world. Yayedam dharyate jagat. Mama eva amsa jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana. Krishna says that the living entity, you and me, we are sanatana, we are eternal. Mana shastani indriyani, but we are caught within the mind and the senses, prakrite stani karshati. And yayate jagat, forget the verse, but in any case, we create this whole universe. We maintain this universe by our independent desires from Krishna. It's just like a father, he may have many children, and if one of his sons becomes disturbed, becomes unable to function in society, the father will put him in an environment where he will supply the needs of his child, but at the same time, he will want him to become healed. He will want him to become sane again, even though he may be crazy. So, Vidya Vinaya Sampane, Vinaya, to be gentle. Gentle means that you make space for others. Lord Chaitanya also taught us that the process by which we can reach to Krishna is Trinad Api Sunichena, is to be more humble than the grass. Taro Rapi Sais Nuna, and more tolerant than the tree. Amanina Manadena, to give respect to others. Manadena, Amanina, not to expect anything for ourselves, but Manadena, but give space to others. Then Kirtaniya Sadahari, then we can enter into an eternal relationship with Krishna. We can glorify Krishna 24 hours a day if we develop this attitude of humility. This is the process. So, to continue with this verse, that Pandita means one who is learned. From the word Pandita, we have the word Panda. If you go to the big temples in India like Jagannath Puri, Vrindavan, the Sevites or the Brahmanas who take care of the deities, they are called Pandas. That means that they are learned. So when you go to Jagannath Puri, you meet a Panda and he will take you through all the different rituals involving coming to a holy place. You don't go to a holy place like Jagannath Puri just to bathe in the ocean or to bathe in the holy rivers. You go to a holy place to take advantage of the instructions of the Pandits, of people who are learned in spiritual life. So Pandita Samadarshina, one of the qualities of the Pandit is that he sees everybody equally. There is a nice story of Maharaj Bharat, which I'm reading in the Srimad Bhagavatam. This Bharat Raja was a great king. He was the son of Lord Rishabdev. Lord Rishabdev had 100 sons. This happened millions and millions of years ago. And his eldest son, his name was Bharat. When Bharat was 24 years old, he was the emperor of this planet. This planet, or this Varsha, this island in which we live, it was called Ilavrita Varsha. But since the reign of Bharat Maharaj, it is called Bharat Varsha. To this day, in India, the government refers to India as Bharat. India or Hindu is a foreign name. The real name for India is Bharat. Because it is coming, it has been glorified by the appearance of this great personality called Bharat Maharaj. When he was a young man, he gave up his kingdom. He was 24 years old. He gave up his kingdom, gave up his family, his treasury, his army, his friends, and he went to the forest to practice austerities so that he could reach spiritual perfection. Yo dustyajan dara sutan. That which is difficult to give up. Dustyajan. Tyaja means to give up, and dush means difficult. Dara means wife. Sutam means children. Surid, friends. Ridisprishya. These things are very, very strongly attached to the heart. Jaho yuvaiva malavat uttama shloka lalasa. He gave him all up when he was a young man, Yuvo. Malavat, just like the were untouchable stool. Why? Uttama shloka lalasa. Because he became very much attracted to Uttama shloka, or to the person who is mostly glorified, greatest glorified, that is Krishna. Krishna is being glorified by the greatest poetry. And when we glorify Krishna, we become very, very peaceful, very, very happy, very, very centered. So Bharat Maharaj, he was so attached, he gave up his kingdom, his family, his friends, and he went to practice austerities. He became so advanced, he was on the cusp of love of God. He was almost perfect, almost perfection, but somehow he became attached to a small deer. While he was meditating in the morning, one she deer, one doe, she came to drink water from the river, and suddenly nearby a lion roared. The doe became so afraid, she became terrified by the roar of the lion. She jumped across the water, and while jumping, the small baby deer, she was highly pregnant, fell from her womb into the water. She died, and the little baby deer was being washed away. So Bharat Maharaj, he picked up the deer from the water and he took care of it. And over a period of months and years, he became very much attached to the deer. Because of his attachment to the deer, at the moment of death, the deer was beside him and he was meditating on the deer, and he took birth as a deer. But because he was so advanced in spiritual life, even in the birth of a deer, he didn't forget his previous life. So he understood what had happened, and therefore he left his mother deer and stayed close to the ashram of sages. And when his deer body came to an end, he took birth in a family of brahmanas, very elevated family of brahmanas. He had 8 stepbrothers, and he had a twin sister. And again, he remembered his previous lives. So when he was born in a Brahmin family, he decided to become detached from all material things. So externally, he acted like a madman. His father tried to teach him the principles of Brahminical life, but he purposely would not learn. He purposely would make mistake. If his father tell him, you wash your hand before doing puja, he would do puja and then wash his hand. And in this way, he remained completely detached from material life. And the story goes on. Somehow or another, eventually his father died. His stepbrothers mistreated him. He was kidnapped by some dacoits. They tried to offer him in sacrifice to the goddess Kali. Kali Bhairava, Mother Kali, she became upset. She killed all the dacoits. Bharat became free. Then he was coerced to work as a palanquin carrier for King Rahugana, who was the king of Sindhu and Sovira. So, because he was acting like a dull and clueless person, they simply engaged him to carry the palanquin. But he had this vision, this Pandita Samadarshina. And what is this vision? This vision was that even the ants, they are connected to God. The only difference between me and the ant, he was thinking, that I have a human body and the ant has an ant body, but they have every right to live. They are as connected to God as I am. They are my brothers. Therefore, when he was walking, carrying the palanquin, he would look a few steps ahead, and if there were any ants, he would stop and he would pause so that he wouldn't crush them with his feet. And this, of course, caused the palanquin to be uneven, and the king became very angry, and he chastised Bharat Maharaj. And then Bharat Maharaj finally spoke and revealed his knowledge, and he pointed out to the king that there's no difference between being a king and being a palanquin carrier. That is only to do with the body, and it has nothing to do with the spirit. He explained to the king the philosophy of seeing with equal vision. And because he was able to explain, the king understood that this so-called palanquin carrier, this person who's acting like a madman, is actually a very, very advanced person. He's a pandit, he's very, very advanced because he's so equally. This is the result of transcendental knowledge. You become meek, you become humble, and you see equally everyone. You don't harm anyone. you become everyone's best friends. And when you become everyone's best friend, Krishna becomes your best friend, because Krishna is best friends with everyone. Thank you very much. So those of you who missed the link, something went wrong with my Facebook page. I couldn't host a Gita class on my page, but I hosted it on ISKCON Amsterdam. And I will post it, of course, on my Facebook page as well. If you have any more comments, please continue. We have a comment from Dulai Day and from Rakshana Singh. Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for commenting. And next class will be next Friday. I will resolve the problem with the video. Hare Krishna.